Good morning, all of you. Today, we are going to take class relating to poverty in India. This particular unit coming in block 2, unit number 5, Indian economy for become general. This particular topic includes how we are measuring the poverty and what are all the causes for poverty and what are its impact in Indian economy. These are the topics today we are going to cover. The objective of this unit is to analyze what is the poverty status in India. Let us start the class. In India, the problems of unemployment and poverty have always been major obstacle to economic development. The regional disparity is also crucial in this context. The economic reforms, changes in the industrial policy, and better utilization of available resources are expected to reduce the problem of unemployment and poverty. The governmental bodies are also required to initiate the long-term measure for poverty alleviation. The generation of employment, the two in for the past 3 decades, have eradicated some poverty to some extent, but this generation is not up to the mark. The employment generation and equality of income distribution are the two key factors that are utmost important to deal with the dual problem of unemployment and the poverty. In general, the poverty can be defined in a situation when people are unable to satisfy the basic need of the life. That is the easiest, in layman definition, what we're trying to mean about poverty is the people who are unable to satisfy the basic needs of the life. The definition and methods of measuring poverty differs from country to country. The extent of poverty in India is measured by number of people living below poverty line. Now we will discuss about how to measure the poverty. For that, we have to give idea about what is poverty line is. Without knowing poverty line, it is not possible to explain about the concept poverty. The poverty line defines the threshold of income. The household earning below this particular threshold are considered they are poor. Different countries have different methods of defining that particular line depending upon the local socio-economic needs. The Planning Commission releases the poverty estimates in India. The poverty is measured based on consumer expenditure surveys of the National Sample Survey Organization. We normally call it as NSSO. This National Sample Survey Organization is measuring the poverty line for India. A poor household is defined as the one with the expenditure level below the specific poverty line. Earlier, India used to define poverty line based on the method defined by the task force in 1979. They have a group of people will decide this is the line. Below this, they are coming under poverty line. Above it, they are normal persons. But it is based on the expenditure for buying the food worth of 2,400 calories in rural areas and 2,100 calories in urban areas. So this is the a person able to afford or able to get food up to 2,400 calories, then he is above poverty line. That was the measurement till 1979. But in 2009, Suresh Tendulkar committee, that committee tried to define the poverty line. How they defined? the poverty line on the basis of monthly spending on food, education, health, electricity, and other services like transport. Based on these five, whether he can able to afford this, then he is above poverty line. The Planning Commission has updated the poverty lines and poverty ratio for the year 2009 and 10 as per the recommendation of the Tendulkar Committee. It has estimated the poverty line at all India level. The monthly per capita consumption expenditure should be rupees 673 in rural areas and rupees 860 for urban areas. This is announced on 2009 and 10 based on the Tendulkar Committee recommendation. So the person who spent rupees 673 in rural area and rupees 860 in urban area per month is defined as living below poverty line. If you are not able to have this much money, then they are coming under below poverty line. Based on these cutoff, the percentage per percentage, we may say how many people coming under out of 100 people, nearly 37% of people are living below poverty line. So when we compare to rural and urban, in rural it is 37, but in urban it is 29.8% in 2009 and 10. Even in absolute term, the number of people have fallen nearly 52.4 million people in that particular period. That was 2009 and 10. 48.1 million rural people and 4.3 million people is living below poverty line during the period 2009 and 10. Thus, the poverty has declined the average of 1.5% point per year between 2004 to 2009. The annual average rate of decline during this period, that is from 2004 to 2009, is twice the rate of declining during the period of 93 to 2004. When we compare the period 93 to 2004 and 2004 to 2009, the reduction in the poverty line is 1.5% per year. So this is the current state of poverty line. Now, why this poverty line is not able to improve? For that, there are many reasons are there. Now we will study those reasons as causes of poverty and how it impacts the Indian economy. So we will see one by one. First, viscous circle of poverty we should know. It is said that the country is poor because it is poor. This idea has come around from Ragnar Nursky, who have pinpointed the problem of viscous circle of poverty. He is the one have a clear statement he have made about the causes for poverty with a famous wordings. A country is poor because it is poor. The low level of saving reduces the scope of investment. The low level of investment yields a low income, and thus the circle of poverty is keep on going indefinitely. So the main reason for continuation of poverty is viscous circle of poverty. Who have given this particular concept? Ragnar Nursky. He is an economist who have given definition for poverty. Why? The income is low, because of that the savings is low, because of the savings low they are not able to invest more, so it is keep on continuing. So the poverty is persisting indefinitely. The second cause for poverty is low resources endowment. The household is poor if the sum total of the income earning assets, I may say the total income earned in that particular month, which is including all factors of production like land, capital, and labor. It depends on the skill that cannot be provide the income above the poverty line. The poor mainly consist of unskilled labor, and which is typically does not command high enough level of wage. They can't demand more wage because they are unskilled. So total number of unskilled labor in India is more. They cannot demand high wages. Because of that, the income level is low. Because of that income level, the poverty line is persisting. So this is a second reason. The third one is lack of access to the social service. This is one of the main cause for poverty. The lack of access to the social services such as health, education, all these the government is trying to produce, but it is not reaching to the public. Why? There is an inequality in the ownership of physical and human assets. These services directly affect the household welfare. The poor is typically get much lesser fair share of these services. This is partly because the government do not invest enough to ensure the adequate supply of these services, and the limited supply is mainly availed by non-poor household. Those who are the proximity of the people with that particular center, they are availing, but it is not reaching to the interior part of the rural area. So that is why, even though the government is implementing more social services, it is not reaching the actual needed person. This is partly because the government do not invest enough to ensure an adequate supply of these services, and the limited supply is mainly available by non-poor household. Further, the poor may not have adequate access for a variety of other, there are many other reasons are there, because lack of access to information about these kind of services available, he is not aware. Then how he can get it? Lack of knowledge, and one important factor is corruption. For providing that free service, for that they are bribing. So the person who is not aware of these services, and even though they know, the corruption is not allowing the government policy to reach the needy persons. So this is the third main reason for poverty. Then let's move to the fourth cause for poverty is inequality in distribution of income and assets. The distribution of income and the asset also determine the level of income. The economic inequalities are the major cause for poverty in India. It means the benefits of the growth have been concentrated and have not trickled down the sufficiently to ensure the improved consumption among the low income people, because rich is become richer and poor has become poorer. This is the current situation. That is why every year there is an increase in poverty, and poverty line is getting low. The fifth reason for persistence of poverty is lack of access to the institutional credit. The bank and other financial institutions are biased in the provision of loans to the poor for the fear of default of repayment of loan. Further, the rules regarding collateral security or documentary evidence, these things, those who are illiterates and those who are residing in the rural areas are not able to avail the loan. But even if they reach, the people are saying some reason, say whether you will repay, how much, what is the asset that you have. Because of these questions, they are not using those services. Still, they are in the same level of income. The inaccessibility of institutional credit may force the poor to take credit from the landlord. So unorganized people are keep on giving loan with a higher interest rate. So it make the poor become more poor, because the principal amount is only a particular amount, but interest is more over the period of time, because the government institutions are not able to provide loan to the needy people, because he is residing in rural, the institution is not available there. The other informal sources, they are charging very high interest rate, and which in turn weaken the position of the rural area, leading to further improvement in the level of poverty. For example, a payment of abnormally a high rental share for land and acceptance of abnormally low wage for the laborer. These are the, they encourage the bonded laborer. That bonded laborer concept is because they don't want to give more wage to the working people, but they are paying very less rent for the land. The government is sanctioned. Because of this, the poorer is become poorer. So even if we reap the production, they are not able to sell, and that particular price is very low, which is not compensating the amount spent on that particular production level. Their poverty is further accentuated because of the indebtedness. Such indebted families continue to remain under the poverty line for the generation because the debt trap is a key word, is debt trap, because that particular poverty line is continuing generation by generation. One more main reason for poverty is price rise. The rising prices have reduced the purchasing power of individual, especially those who are residing in the rural area. The real value of money income is very high, but the purchasing power is very less for the public. The people belong to the low income group are compelled to reduce their consumption and thus move further to the poverty line. So price level change have a very good impact on poverty because the poor is not able to afford the basic amenities. The next reason is lack of productive employment. The magnitude of the poverty is directly linked to the unemployment situation. So these two are directly proportional. The present employment condition the next reason is lack of productive employment. The magnitude of the poverty is directly linked with the unemployment situation. So poverty and unemployment are directly proportional. The present employment condition do not permit a reasonable level of living because of the poverty. The lack of productive employment is mainly due to problem of infrastructure and lack of input, lack of credit facility, outdated technology, and the employee who are engaged in agriculture activities, they don't have the marketing support. Because of this reason, even though the employment is there, but it is not generating the required income. The gainful employment opportunity are lacking in the system. That is the main reason the poverty and unemployment is keep on increasing. The main reason are listed in a right way. One more reason I have left it out is rapid population growth. The faster the population growth obviously means the slower growth of per capita income, and in a given rate of growth, the gross domestic product GDP, it is keep on reducing. There is a slow rate of improvement in the average standard of living. Because of that, the output is not expected level. The GDP is keep on reducing. Further, it increases the population growth, increase the consumption, and it reduces the national saving, and it produces all adverse effect in the capital formation, thereby a limited growth in the national income. So one of the main reasons that we should say is rapid population growth, because the per capita income formula is national income divided by population. If the denominator values keep on increasing, definitely the GDP is reducing. Because of that, the poverty is persisting. Then one more thing is low productivity in agriculture. India is an agriculture country, but the level of productivity in agriculture is low due to subdivided and fragmented holding, lack of capital, and use of traditional method of cultivation, and illiteracy among the agriculture workers. Because of these reasons, there is a low productivity. This is the main cause for poverty in the rural area. So these are all the economic reasons for poverty. Now let us discuss the social causes for poverty. In this, we are considering education, caste system, social custom. These are all the main social causes. If you take education, education is an agent of social change. The poverty is also said to be closely related with the level of schooling, and these two have a circular relationship. If education is there, there is a possibility of getting employment. If you get the employment, you can generate income. If you generate income, you can invest more, and that investment will reap more productivity. That more productivity will increase your better standard of living, and that better standard of living will increase a better education. So it is a circle. But if you take the education, all the citizens of India are not able to get the education. Even government is ready to provide, but it is not reaching to the needy people. The earning power is affected by the investment in the individual education and training. However, the poor people do not have fund for human capital investment, and thus it limits their income. The one more reason in the context of social well-being is caste system. Caste system in India is always been responsible for the rural poverty. The subordination of low caste people with the high caste people caused the poverty in a very bad manner. Due to a rigid caste system, the low caste people could not participate in various economic activities, and they are so remained as a poor. So the social causes started with the education and caste system. Finally, we are having some custom. That social custom also induces the poverty. The rural people generally spend a large percentage of annual earning for social ceremonies like marriage, death, like that. They will spend that money in an unproductive manner. They borrow largely to meet these requirements. As a result, they remain in debt and the poverty is persisting. So what are the causes for poverty is we are dividing into two. One is economic causes and second one is social causes. So in economic causes, there is a 9 point here, 3 points. If they ask in section C, first you write what is poverty and you have to write what is poverty line. Then you have to list out these 12 causes for poverty. Let me sum up this particular unit. In this unit, we have studied about poverty line, and we are able to measure the poverty line. For that, what are the economic indicators that we are using? Then a list of causes for the poverty. It is divided into two. One is economic causes, another one is social causes, and we have listed out. These are all the things we discussed today. And keywords in this particular unit is we can able to understand what is poverty line is. That is, poverty line is a keyword. And poverty measurement, the reason for the poverty, and what are all the consequences in persisting the poverty line. So these are all the keywords we should know, because once you are familiar with these keywords, then it is easy to explain in detail about the poverty status in India. When we consider the semester and examination, 1 section C and 2 section B is you can expect. One is how to measure the poverty, and second one is what are the causes of poverty. These are the 2 section B question you can expect. In section C, they will ask about explain the poverty status in India. That was a question. So rarely they may ask define poverty line in section A. So go through this particular topic. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you.